Hello, and thank you for watching community television for the Southern Berkshires. You're watching episode 3 of Families Like Ours, or FLO, a family support group for families who have children with disabilities such as autism and ADHD. And joining me today, episode 1 and 2, we spoke to some of the moms, and joining me today is the dads group. And joining me is Ranya's spouse, Adam, and Rebecca's spouse, AJ. Thank you guys for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
This is a really great episode to hear the dad's perspective and how this support group helps out moms and dads. So start out by telling me, how did becoming a parent to a child with special needs change your perspective on parenting or life in general?
Well, let's see. Well, I would say the perspective on parenting aspect of it. I had my first child who was, I guess atypical, which was, pretty standard, like with the toilet training and everything, and with my, my son, he, we still struggle with, a lot of the things that you would expect to be done with, like the toilet training still, and a lot of the, the temper tantrums and stuff. So that's made it a little more, on the difficult end, but, he's a very loving child. So, it's, I guess I get that a little longer because now he's approaching 10 and he's still cuddly like a little kid, but, we still struggle with a lot of the general stuff that you would think that would already be done with now, but, that's been a little bit of a struggle for me,
Extra time and extra patience. And I think giving that extra time is maybe one of the keys. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It just takes a little longer to get there. So it's a learning experience every day for sure. Sure. AJ,
I would say, especially with our oldest, with Sam, when we had him, we were really concerned early on because he couldn't speak. And the PDC, I can't remember what the acronym stands for, helped us with communicating with him and introduced, well, why don't we try sign? So we learned to communicate with sign, and that kind of really opened up a lot more hope for me as a dad to be able, because it seemed like at the beginning it was, he couldn't share his wants, his needs. And once he learned sign, we were communicating. We were like, wow, there's a lot of deep thought going on there. And then one day when he just started talking, it was really a huge blessing. And now I love him, and hasn't stopped talking since. But originally it was a little scary because I never really thought about having a child with special needs. You assume, like every parent, that they're just going to be miniature versions of you, and there's not going to be any problems. So it was scary at first, but now that we're on to we've had our third, it's like, we know what we're dealing with now. So we're already kind of been through the training course, if you will.
I think it's that extra time that's needed. So my son is 11, and he has autism, and he's still yet to ride a bike and swim, and we're just getting signed up for swim lessons, and we're talking about the bike, and although he's like ridden little four-wheelers and stuff, but the balancing part is a big thing, and it's kind of late. It is kind of late for him to be learning how to swim and bike and things like that. But I've also learned. I thought, this is just me, I've learned there's many groups out there of 10, 11-year-olds who are just learning to swim, and maybe they have a disability, maybe they don't, but just learning about that was tremendous. And I'll just give a quick shout out to the Dalton CRA. Great place to check out if your child needs some extra time or accommodations to learn how to swim. Second question. What is something you wish more people understood about families raising a child with a disability?
Yeah, there's a lot of, the unseen struggles, like with, just getting out in the public a lot of the time, there's a lot of preparation that you got to do that you wouldn't normally have to, just to make sure in case, your child, isn't having a good time, you have to have an outlet to, possibly leave or get them to a spot where they can de-escalate. Like for us, we're faced with a lot of, like, my older child does sports, and she's done a lot of performances at school, and my son tends to be a little on the louder side. So like sometimes we have to, not that he doesn't deserve to be in spots, but you have to think of the other parents too, and you want them to enjoy the situation. So sometimes we have to make sure that one of us can, either be home and, stay home with our son, or, some situations like that, that's a lot of it, you try to be as respectful to everybody else, the best you can out in public, but, sometimes there's just uncontrollable situations where, you can't help their actions, and you kind of feel bad, but you do the best you can as a parent, to try to accommodate, so.
Yeah, I think like maybe going to birthday parties or something like that, where the noise level is up and there's a lot of motion, and that can be
the sensory processing thing can be a lot with the noise for children that tend to be on the spectrum, so once it gets loud in situations, they that can be an issue, for sure.
Yeah.
AJ, what do you think about what do you wish other people understood about your situation with children with a disability?
Definitely, I would totally agree. Like, the behind-the-scenes prep is a lot of work. Families, special needs families, if you will, I don't want to coin it that way, very tired parents, because we're pre-training, pre-teaching every moment, and then what's the next activity? Okay, when the big hand gets to the 6, this is what's going on, or an hour from now we've got to get your shoes on. You really have to get down to the individual details of preparation, because you're not dealing with regular children who just assume and press play and they go on their own. At a certain age, they need to be reminded a lot. And as a side note to that is sometimes there's regression. So like you think, wow, we've really made a lot of headway in the last few months, and then it's like one step forward, 2 steps back, and you're like, wow, now they're like acting like 3 years younger than they were a moment ago, and you're having to retrain again. So it takes mountains of patience and mountains of energy, which you tend to lack both of over time, and that people outside of your family don't really understand that level of intensity and the divide and conquer between spouses and family help. A lot of families are fortunate to have like grandparents and other relatives to help, and some aren't. Some are single moms that we know from the group that are. Wow, they're just like superheroes to be able to carry it, especially with special needs kids. It's hard enough to raise children that don't have needs.
Right.
They're really superheroes, and people just don't understand how hard it is.
Yeah. The work-life balance and the time with your family, it seems like there's like never really enough time.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a super big challenge. What are some of the ways you and your partner support each other during difficult moments?
If personal care is a big thing, like where, if my wife needs the time to, I run a business out of Sheffield, is 413 Outdoor Services, I do a lot of seasonal work, so when the season is where it's time for me to work, she also runs families like ours, and she has her regular job that she does, and trying to accommodate each other's schedules is the big thing, also, like I said, I have an older daughter that's into sports and activities, so to make it so their life isn't overly impacted, you gotta be really flexible, I try to make it so if she needs the time to get away, or she needs to be able to go take a walk because she's overwhelmed with work, I try to provide that for her. Or if I need time to go get away, she'll also do the same for me, because it's a lot of pressure, along with general life and taking care of everything how you have to, there's a lot of unexpected things that pop up. So, it's really big to, when you have the time to let them do, like, taking time to go do her nails or do that. You need to, be lean, let them have their time, because, it's a big struggle,
Yeah. That personal time is super important.
Yeah.
AJ, how do you support each other, you and Rebecca?
It's mostly divide and conquer, I would say, is a big part of it. Especially if there's tough situations, like one will have to stay with the other children if there's like a meltdown situation, and kind of a one-on-one, so that they have a better chance to de-escalate and to to have a more calmer approach. I know, especially with our oldest, if two parents come at, or multiple people at one time, it makes it more difficult. It's too overwhelming if he's escalated. So you really have to, usually one-on-one, to help de-escalate the situation. It's really important. And when you have two parents, I think it makes it easier, because you have the other person you kind of already know, like, who's going to do which role at that moment. And you have to make those last-minute decisions. And I agree with Adam too, because I'm also self-employed. I've had my own computer business, Delia.biz Computer Services, for 30 years, and being self-employed is really a huge benefit, because I can take time off to participate more with the kids, with our FLO groups, and to be there for my wife, where I know if I was working for someone else that I would not have a job very long with the demands. You've really pretty much have to be self-employed. And
that was a big determining factor for me for, going on my own, was definitely I needed the availability because of doctor appointments, and we tend to see a lot of specialists, so our living in the Berkshires, a lot of you have to travel to go places, so we spend a lot of time traveling to Boston or Springfield, and so if you work for somebody else, you only get so many days off, so it's a big thing with being self-employed. That's been the only way that we would be able to really do it, I feel. Most of the specialists are in Springfield, Boston, and you have whether it's like OT therapy or something like that. The appointments, it does become a lot. It's certainly manageable, and divide and conquer is the way to do it. And of course, for single parents, that's a super difficult challenge. And say you even just have a day where you've come down with a cold or something like that, and where you could say, hand it off to mom or dad and say, I need to lay down for a while. A single parent doesn't have that. You have to kind of keep pushing through, and that can be a challenge. So that divide and conquer is super important. That's without Rania, my wife, who's my best friend, I really have compassion for the single parents a tremendous amount, because it is, it's a lot, so to be able to have the strength to be able to keep going like that, I give a lot of credit to the single parents, for sure.
Yeah, and I think when we say divide and conquer, it's not a war, but it's preparing, it's bringing extra things, it's having a plan, it's thinking about the situation before you get into it. It's everything from getting breakfasts ready for the kids for the morning, and getting lunches ready, because it's not like my daughter, she can get herself ready, but my son, he needs help from everything from the teeth to the clothes, so it's. Somebody has to have the time for that. So you're scheduling. Before, I used to laugh at the wife's schedules, but now I am very happy that she has them for me, because without her keeping everything in line, I don't know how we would manage.
Exactly. We've had to synchronize our calendars digitally. Because my whole business schedules everything digitally. And so I've already made the family calendar pigeonhole priority over work. So it's just automatically, I'm not available for that time for work. This is family. Family has to come first.
Family first.
And you really, like the divide and conquer, it's more of you have to sustain and maintain your spouse too. Otherwise you fail. You're not going to make it. It's an awful lot for one person to try to carry on their own. In our situation, my wife's the homemaker. She used to work, but we found it was a lot easier for her to be home, to be able to run for all 3 kids, and it's been a lot of running with all those appointments, like he was mentioning, and all over the state. And I do have to say, for FLO, it's been a huge benefit for us, because before we were introduced to FLO, the only real resources were like Springfield, North Adams, miles away. So you're talking day trips, and it's just not feasible to try to work and to travel that far all the time for any type of help or services. It was like, we've got to bring it closer, and FLO really filled that gap for us in a huge way and in so many helpful areas.
Great. Yeah. Let's talk more about FLO. And kind of self-care. So FLO has a men's group where you guys have the opportunity to get together and talk and maybe blow off some steam. Tell me about that group. Like, what does it look like?
Well, we try to have little get-togethering. We do various things, like we've gotten together for driving golf balls, and just to get together, have brunch or have dinner together. Usually the father, is for the fathers, and it's just a chance to talk about struggles, progress, how things are going just in general life, and also to build community among the parents, because there is a certain level of seclusion that comes along with it. So friends that you might have used to have, that used to have time to hang out with, maybe you don't see as much. So it's gotten an opportunity to make new friends, and get to share in some of our successes. They're not always big, but it's nice to have someone that understands the struggle that you're going through, and someone to share your little milestones with for your kids, because not everybody is always excited that your kid has gotten a word out, or but for some parents it's a huge thing.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's hard to lose friendships that you might have even had for years, but once you have kids with needs, it's like there's this unspoken distancing of people that you've known for sometimes decades that just kind of vanish out of your life, and because they can't relate, or they don't want to be a part of it, and it hurts. But at the same token, the benefit of FLO is that we've met and befriended a lot of other people that we already know. So there's like a lot of unspoken things that we already know as parents together, without having to talk about all the backstory, because we already have a shared backstory, really, and are sharing the same struggles and benefits of raising kids with needs.
Yeah. It is. I would say up till this roundtable discussion, I don't know if I spoke to any other parents with children who have a disability. So one of my first reactions during episode 1 and 2 was, your child likes to watch the same movie again and again and again and again and again, and I was like, that's not just me.
Yeah, and you learn the commonalities, it's nice, because like I said, I mean, I've made friends that I didn't have in the past, and as you get older, I think we all realize it's a little harder to make friends. So it's good that we have that opportunity to get together. We try to do it monthly. My wife, she tries to update the website at familieslikeoursinc.com with updates about when we're going to be doing events and where they're at. She'll send out reminders through the website. It's something we try to do as the weather gets warmer. We try to do more outside oriented events, just so we can get out there.
How many dads are partaking in the group?
Generally, we have between maybe 4 or 5 dads will come out. It's open to anybody. Like I said, I mean, any of the parents, any of the dads that want to come out, we encourage you to come out, because we have fun. It's a chance to get away for you know, I mean, it might not be for big events, but, you know, a couple hours at a time, a little bit of, you know, a little bit of, I don't know, compassionate companionship, I guess, through your friends is a good thing, you know, because, you know, it's good to share your successes and things that have happened, you know, with somebody that actually, you know, understands.
Exactly. I totally
Yeah. A
agree.
little bit of free time is I think is fair.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
What kind of support has made the biggest difference for your family?
Well, I would say that the FLO group really has been a really big support group. You know, it's helped with us. You know, like I said, there is a lot of seclusion. So, you know, we do like playing picnics over the summer where we'll all get together with our family and all of our kids, and we'll have you know, barbecues, and we meet at the local parks. You know, we try to do these things because, you know, like I say, a lot of the time, you know, the barbecue events, when, you know, you go with your child, and, you know, a lot of times you could be sitting alone if you're, you know, but at least when we have our events, you know, there's the opportunity to let your kids play, and there's plenty of parents that understand that, you know, they might need a little extra watching, so we all do our part to make sure everybody's safe, and it's a good community that we've built, you know.
I like the idea of that. Maybe the volume's a little lower.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in a more serene location, like you guys can kind of control your environment.
Yeah, and then, you know, we're all compassionate to knowing that, you know, hey, you know, we got to make sure not one of our children run away, because that's a big thing, you know.
It is. You have bolting.
We have a lot of our kids, you know, they have a tendency to want to run, you know. So it's good to have an extra sets of eyes, and, you know, we have a lot of fun at our events. You know, we have last year we purchased like a big inflatable movie screen, so we're going to do movie nights and stuff this year, weekly through FLO. We provide swimming at Berkshire South. They do that on Fridays for an hour during the day on Friday. So on the website it'll have the time. I think it's from noon. You know, so we try to do stuff for the community that, you know, like I said, not everybody comes to every event, but, you know, there's groups that go to the swimming events. There's groups that come to the dad's nights, you know, and we try to have a broad variety of things to offer to the community, you know, because, you know, it is, there isn't a lot of things to do here that, unless, you know, a lot of it involves being out and, you know, doing the nature stuff and the boating and the Berkshires, you know, and sometimes the safety issues. You know, we try to make safe environments, you know, for the kids to enjoy, you know, because, like, for me, I would like to spend more time at the lake and stuff like that, but for my son, it's a little, you know, it's dangerous being near the water. So, you know, we tend to do events that we find that, you know, can bring people in a safe environment together, you know, where it's a little more controlled, you know, and, you know, that's,
Yeah, first, I know I mentioned the CRA, but Berkshire South is also a great, supportive place for kids with special needs. And
we offer the swimming there, like I said, on Fridays. So, you know, that's an outlet that can be, it's all paid for. You know, you can bring your kid, and, you know, they can have, you know, some time where it's a little, maybe not as quiet because there are other kids there, but it is, you know, it's an opportunity to get out and, you know, like if your kids are, you know, like my son, he loves the water, but going into any place where there's too deep of water, or, you know, it's dangerous. So, you know, it's an opportunity to get them accustomed to, you know, different things, you know.
Our families participated a lot too, and FLO has hosted Art and Tea Party at CATA in Great Barrington at the Jennifer House Commons, and that's been really great for our kids because they can watercolor, paint, draw. Then they have like a little snack break, and then they'll go upstairs in the upper room where they can dance and partake in movement and music and everything. And our kids, it's a blast for our children. They just absolutely love the activity. Our kids are really musically driven, so they really love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was just reading something the other day about like a dance party for kids on the spectrum, and I'm imagining that it's probably toned down a bit, you know, and it's just more manageable for them, and you know, maybe less running around, and I haven't done it yet, but we'll talk about it in the future, because because sometimes school dance parties can be really loud, lots of running, and a really loud DJ, and bright lights, and that environment is just not always the best.
And like Adam was saying too about FLO, it's great for parents with special needs kids, because it's a true safety net. Like in every event, outside or inside, everybody's looking out for everybody's kids. Like, oh yeah, your little guy just ran off that way, and you know, I mean, you going, you know, that type of thing. And it's just been a huge. When you're not in a safe environment like that, it's a lot of internal energy and worry, and like you have to have 6 eyes in your head and looking in every direction, like who ran where. As a short note, I went shoe shopping just the other day with my littlest one, and he decided while I was looking for shoes to go and hide in the store, and the lady had to help me hunt him down, and he kept hiding, and so it was. You feel very isolated and embarrassed and alone as a parent in that situation to find and capture your child, but like in a FLO event, that never happens, because all parents have eyes everywhere. So you're really in a safe zone where you don't have to really worry about that happening, because somebody already knows, oh, he's over here. So, you know.
That's right. Eloping, the proper term for it, I guess. And I know my son's school, there's stop signs on the door specifically for him. If you feel like you fight or flight and you got to run, once you get to that door, you got to stop. For sure. Okay, we're almost out of time, but final question is, what is something about your child that makes you proud every single day?
Well, like I said, it's the little things, you know. You know, my son's super happy. He's such a loving little man, you know. As he's growing, you know, the worry is, you know, it's there, but every day he has little accomplishments, you know. You just got to be proud of the small things.
My oldest, his reading lately has brought tears to my eyes, because like I still remember back to when he couldn't talk, had trouble communicating, and now he reads better out loud than I could even think of reading out loud now. He's a phenomenal reader. And like my daughter, she just absolutely loves art and animals. She loves drawing, and to see her artwork at such a young age is just, it's phenomenal. And my littlest guy, he just loves building things and following in the other two's kind of footsteps, and that likes their things with building and reading, and he's getting interested in reading like they are. And so I've been really proud of all three of them, and the leaps and bounds. And the group activities at FLO definitely help in every area with our kids, to kind of let down their inhibitions and shyness, and to partake in a group of kids that are like them, and help them flourish at their best and what they're good at, has been a huge, huge benefit for our family. Because you don't, in the regular world, if you will, you don't get that. You don't have that ability for them to flourish and grow.
Finding those special things for them that helps them, whether it's a movement share, or you see them progressing, doing better with a certain situation, whether it's noise or high ceilings or tactile or clothing or zippers, and maybe they can move on from some things like that, and through your eyes, it's you feel super proud.
That's like my son. Not too long ago, it was just the little things like the sensory thing, like it goes as far as like the foods they eat. The fact that he now will eat some variety of a meat or anything other than his stick-to diet. Little accomplishments where he will eat something out of what is normal for him. Even that makes me a proud dad. So like I said, it's the little things. My son can't hold a conversation, but yet he can read stuff in foreign languages and understand different languages, and he knows numbers and math that even me, he can go through the times tables quicker than most older children, but it's the little things that you learn to appreciate,
Yeah.
And the little milestones are always big milestones for us, I feel.
Yeah. I should say gifted, because some things that they struggle with, but then there's things that they excel at. And you're just like, whoa, like I don't even know that at my age, and you've already figured it all out.
Yeah, my son literally could probably recite most nursery rhymes in 5 languages, and I couldn't do it in only the one, So it's amazing the what is inside of them, and that's why I said FLO tends, we try to build people up so they can, you just learn to be more compassionate, and we try to express that through helping everybody we can.
Excellent. Adam and AJ, for you at home, if you're interested in joining FLO, familieslikeoursinc.com. And thank you for watching episode 3. More episodes to come. I hope to have you guys back sometime, and I hope to join in on your group, and we'll tell more stories about it in the future. So
I enjoyed
thank you both for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.